Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Praisha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloki Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. This is a little bit intimidating. Maybe you can push it a little bit more in the back and there. I think it's a very intimidating monster of a board. Yeah. Und noch ein bisschen rüber. Yeah. Yes. You know, the speaker needs a little freedom here for speaking and thinking. Thank you. Good. Hare Krishna. We will read today from Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is it said the ripe fruit on the tree of Vedic knowledge. All the Vedic knowledge is a revelation of the supreme Brahman. Vedic scripture is revelation of God. And from all these Vedic scriptures, the Srimad-Bhagavatam is the best. It's the cream. It's also called Sada in Sanskrit. Sada means like cream, the essence of knowledge. Veda means knowledge. It's the essence of knowledge. Meaning you cannot know something better or higher, more profound in any way than Srimad-Bhagavatam. It's a great honor to hear that we can hear that. It's a great honor, actually, that we can hear that, we can read that, so that Prabhupada brought this. It's a great, incredible mercy, which we actually don't understand. That's the reason why we are not eager for Srimad-Bhagavatam. And I say we because I include myself. It's not just avoiding to say you and being like imposing. No, we are all not understanding at all what we got with Srimad-Bhagavatam. Actually, the holy name and everything we don't really know. And this is a sign of a devotee. The more advanced we are, the more eager we are for listening, for chanting and all that. And transcending so these our limitations, where we are only focused on our own small world, which is important, right? The material mind is like making us very small. And the more we degrade ourselves to material life, the more we degrade also our incarnations, like animals and plants. You know, their world is really, really small. They're only concerned with a really small area. So, and like Krishna, he has a huge consciousness. He's concerned about everything, right? And the spiritual being who is more like Krishna, he's not so absorbed in his own small world. So we don't understand what we got with Srimad-Bhagavatam, but we have to. This is one of our duties, to really get to understand what we got and appreciate and become very grateful. Gratitude is very important, and humility. So Srimad-Bhagavatam is the ripe fruit on the tree of Vedic knowledge. It's the best what we can hear and know. There's nothing higher than that. So I wanted to mention that, to put this now for mind now when we hear now the Srimad-Bhagavatam. So we are reading text. So the Srimad-Bhagavatam, chapter 12, creation, canto 3, the status quo. Chapter 12, creation of the Kumaras and others. Text number 20 and 5.
26 is on the board.
Oh, so thank you very much. 26. Yeah. Okay, 26. Ridikamo bruvagrodho Lobascha dharadat Asyad vaksindavo medran Niriti payoragashrayaha. Translation. Lust and desire became manifested from the heart of Brahma. Anger from between his eyebrows, greed from between his lips, the power of speaking from his mouth, the ocean from his penis, and low and abominable activities from his anus, the source of all sins. Purport. A conditioned soul is under the influence of mental speculation. However great one may be in the estimation of mundane education and learning, he cannot be free from the influence of psychic activities. Therefore, it is very difficult to give up lust and the desires for low activities until one is in the line of devotional service to the Lord. When one is frustrated in lust and low desires, anger is generated from the mind and expressed from between the eyebrows. Ordinary men are therefore advised to concentrate the mind by focusing on the place between the eyebrows, whereas the devotees of the Lord are already practiced to place the Supreme Personality of Godhead on the seat of their minds. The theory of becoming desireless is untenable because the mind cannot be made desireless. When it is recommended that one be desireless, it is understood that one should not desire things which are destructive to spiritual values. A devotee of the Lord always has the Lord in his mind, and thus he does not need to be desireless, because all his desires are in relationship with the service of the Lord. The power of speaking is called Saraswati, or the goddess of learning, and the birthplace of the goddess of learning is the mouth of Brahma. Even if a man is endowed with the favor of the goddess of learning, it is quite possible for his heart to be full of lust and material desire, and his eyebrows display symptoms of anger. One may be very learned in the mundane estimation, but that does not mean that he is free from all low activities of lust and anger. Good qualifications can be expected only from a pure devotee who is always engaged in the thought of the Lord or in samadhi with faith. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyanandana Salakaya Chakshu Militam Nina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangung Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamahang Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarnam Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Nina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabadantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Riddhi Kamo Bruva Krodho Lobas Chadar Dachadat Asyat Vak Sindavo Medran Niriti Payoragashreha. Lust and desire became manifest from the heart of Brahma, anger from between his eyebrows, greed from between his lips, the power of speaking from his mouth, the ocean from his penis, and low and abominable activities from his anus, the source of all sins. Hare Krishna. As spiritual souls, who we are in reality, we are in a precarious situation in this material world, because we identify with so many things which are giving us trouble. Normally, the spiritual soul is free and pure and happy and normal and in love with Krishna, transcendental, shining, perfect, full of knowledge, right? It's like beyond all that, almost all that what we are now. It's completely different. And now we as small particle souls, we are under the grip of this material energy. And it's really like this. We are under the grip of material energy, which forces us to experience these bad things which Brahma created here in the beginning. We need that somehow or other for expression. Or it's also a punishment for wrong behavior. So as devotees, we really work on that to become free of this. This is one of our duties, to really become free of lust, greed, anger, and all that. And we can see, I think there is, I don't want to make the difference in one sense too strong between devotee and non-devotee, right? In one sense, we should not be too dualistic. In the past, in the Hare Krishna movement especially, we were very dualistic. I did not experience it so much, I have to say, but like in the further past, that there was sometimes in some devotees or projects or yatras a strong mood of we and them, right? We devotees and these are the karmis, the bad and dirty karmis. who are, demons actually. We, the devotees, are them the demons. Look at the demon neighbor mowing, how's it called? Mowing the lawn. I was mowing the lawn. How is it said? One of these, going with his machine and cutting his grass. Look at this demon. He's not doing it for Krishna. He's not doing it only for his sense pleasure. To enjoy his garden. And what is he doing there? Making barbecue with his children. Look at his demon children, huh? This is not demon children going to school every day, waiting for the bus. Demon rascals going to demon education. They will become big demons in the future. Oh, terrible.
Robots, like cuts the grass.
Okay, I know they have robots. Look at this demon neighbor, even too lazy to cut his own grass now with this demon robot. Look at this robot. This is the age of Kali, the age of machines. Demons. Oh, they were demons. You know what I mean. I make a little sarcastic, but the tendency might be there in devotees. Because we are so good. We are so pure. We are so wonderful. We are devotees of the Supreme Lord. He loves us and He hates them. No, of course not. But it might come up in religious people in general. This tendency might be there, of this self-righteousness. Because you are now supremely righteous. You have connected with Supreme and you're supremely good. And there might be a point to it, and Prabhupada sometimes made that point also, that devotees are very special. But we shouldn't be proud, because at the same time we should be very, very humble and merciful. So the devotees should not go around and see all the demons, innocently, pretending to be innocent and cutting his grass. Look, he's just pretending, actually there's a huge demon inside. Or just small children. No, devotee shouldn't see that. Devotee should see Pandita Samadarshinaha. It said, Pandita Samadarshinaha. He has an equal vision towards all living entities. But there's a difference between the living entity and the conditioning of the living entity. We should see everyone as spiritual soul, part and parcel of Krishna, but we should not be blind to the conditioning also. But we shouldn't condemn it in that sense. We shouldn't condemn it. We should be merciful. So I don't want to make the cut too strong between devotees and non-devotees, but difference is there. And we should see in our life a difference, especially when we were not devotees. Some of us might not. Rarely one of us does not notice how I'm not being devotee. How I was always devotee. But there sometimes, but most of us were non-devotees before, right? And we should see a difference, and we should be grateful for that what we got. And see, I'm so happy that I can now become a devotee and have this lifestyle. And we should feel the difference. We should feel the difference. And before that, all these qualities what I described here: lust, anger, greed. Lust, anger, greed, especially these three, which are also said to be the gates to hell. In the Bhagavad Gita, and I think it's in 16th chapter, as far as I remember, it said, lust, anger, and greed are the three gates to hell. And when we were not devotees, it was very hard to control them, and often it was not even understood that we should control it, especially lust. Actually, people think they are weird if they are not lusty, and they have medicine to become lusty. Right? Because they need lust. If they're somehow not lusty, not attracted or something, they think something is wrong with me. And they need this aphrodisiacum. It's called aphrodisiacum. In all kinds of aphrodisiacum, to feel the lust. No? And devotees want to minimize the lust. Or anger, all that. No? Greed. Narasingha Bhagavan ki jai. So this is even a stronger bewilderment if you think that what is bad, that it is good. One thing is that you understand, I have some bad tendency, but I cannot get rid of it and I work on myself. This is already bad. To understand that you have a bad tendency, but to think that the bad tendency is good, this is even more troublesome. And this is Maya. And in Bhagavad Gita, it said that the demons think that what is good is bad, and what is bad is good. This is Asuric mentality. That was his religion, is irreligion, and that was his irreligion is religion. Ja. Der Übersetzer kommt. And all that, so it's upside down. The material world in general, it's upside down. Good, so we are very fortunate that we can get a clear picture of our situation. We need this. We need to have an understanding of what is my situation to get free of it. As Prabhupada says, you have to know the enemy. When there's a war, you need to know as much as possible about your enemy. That's the reason why you have spies, and you have some special soldiers who go around and collect information. You have to know what the enemy is planning. If you don't know, he catches you in the wrong moment and kills you or whatever. So Prabhupada says, you have to know the enemy. The enemy, this is lust. Actually, it's lust. And you have to know where is the lust situated. And where is it situated? It's in the senses, in the mind, and in the intelligence. Why? Lust is simply the motivation for egoistic enjoyment. I want it. I want to enjoy it. And which elements in the body are wanting that? The senses, they want enjoyment. Right? The senses want to touch, they want to see, they want to hear, they want to taste for themselves. There's like this urge. It's a strong urge for sense enjoyment. It's so strong. I want to see that. I want to hear that. I want to smell that. I want to eat that. They're driving us. The soul itself, especially when we get more free, we can see that we should actually somehow or other learn to see the duality between myself and that what I'm not. Meaning I should see more and more, feel, experience, be conscious of my spiritual identity and my non-material identity, or the senses as example. This duality should somehow or other become realized. And this is one of the practices in yoga and Yoga Sutras. This is one of the main points, how to disentangle the Purusha from the Prakriti, which is now like a unit. And the more we practice Krishna consciousness, which is the highest yoga, and this becomes realized. I am not the body. And when the body wants all that, it's not that I need that, I want it. And we can learn to distance ourselves. And with time it becomes so distant that it doesn't trigger us anymore. And there's this separation is done. Okay, so the senses, we know that, they want their enjoyment. Yan maitunadi kriyamedi sukham hitucham kanduya nena karayori vadukka tukam tripyanti nea bahudukka bhaja kanduti vanmanasichang vishaheta dira. As Prahlad Maharaj saying this. Yan maitunadi. Maitunya means sex life, lust, adi, and so on, all that. It's like, it said, it's tucham. Tucham means it's like insignificant. It's like nothing. It's like, psst. Yeah. But for the materialist, this is the best thing. Yan maitunadi kriyamedi. The kriyamedi for him is like sukha. Oh, it's so wonderful. But for enlightenment, it's insignificant. And it said it's like an itching. This is what Prahlad says. It's like an itching. And you will not get happy if you scratch. Yeah, sometimes we get bitten by a mosquito or something. Yeah, and we know we should not scratch it. Is it? You know. Okay, tolerate, and then it goes away. But if you scratch, you feel, it's so nice. Oh, that's so good. That's so wonderful. And then you stop, and it comes stronger back. And you, and then in the end, as Prabhupada says, and you scratch, and you scratch, and you scratch, and then blood comes. Prabhupada said, and then blood comes. And the same is with sense gratification. The senses, they want to. Especially the reproduction senses, especially in the beginning. They have this urge, and this is a real scratching, actually. It's a scratching. Tolerate. It will go away. It's with all kinds of addictions, actually. Tolerate, it will go away. What is the other verse? Most famous verse from Bhagavad Gita, that I forgot. like in the end of the second chapter, that it said that the senses, the desires enter into the mind, or the mind produces all these desires, like rivers are going into the ocean. Yeah. But the ocean is never getting disturbed by it. So, and that example is given, you should tolerate all these desires. Yeah, this was the verse, no? And then you will attain peace. So, and the longer we tolerate and engage in devotional service, all this will go away. It will go away. So, that's the reason why Prabhupada says here, when we are not engaged in devotional service, you will have always this trouble. We cannot get free of it, but through the engagement in devotional service, then we can become free of it. Okay, so lust, anger. So the senses have this lust. Then the mind, the lusty mind, who comes up with all these ideas. Yeah, the mind gives the ideas. The mind is in that sense. The mind and the subtle mind, or the consciousness and the subconsciousness, you can see it's like a lake. And sometimes these bubbles come up from deep down there. Sometimes a thought comes up from nowhere. We say, this comes up from nowhere. No, it's not come up from nowhere. It's come from the unconsciousness, the Unterbewusstsein. Because all this experience we have in life gets stored in the consciousness, chitta. And not everything is all the time conscious. And then you come in a situation where there's a remembrance to this old experience, and it comes up. And then the thought comes up in the mind. And sometimes these are also thoughts of sense gratification, kind of clad into lust. And it triggers the lust. And then you have this lusty thought. So there's also lust in the mind. And then in the intelligence. Why intelligence? Because the intelligence makes then the plan. How can I get this thought into action? How can I fulfill the thought? And the intelligence has to plan. How can I do all that? So also the intelligence is contaminated by the lust. Yeah. So these are the three sitting places of the lust, which is the enemy. And the more we learn that through practice and study of the Shastra, the more we are warned. It will not go away, but you will know how to act when it comes. We have to learn, yeah? And sometimes you learn also by the wrong choice. Mistakes might happen, but then you learn, this was the wrong. This was not good. So we have to learn all that. We have to be like spiritual warriors to learn all that. And the advanced devotee is the one who learned all that. That's the reason why it's called master, spiritual master. Because he mastered it. He controls his mind. He controls himself. Master of himself. This is actually a master who mastered this practice. And then we can learn from him because he realized all that, what is written here. Yes. Yeah, this is a very important lesson. And actually, I don't have to go much further. I think this is a good point that we'll understand this. Yeah. Don't have to talk forever. I have half an hour more. What can I say? Okay, maybe I remember something, but why? I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's a very important point that because this is so. Okay, I say maybe one thing. I said, then it will go away if it's so easy. But I have to say, things are also rotating. They're coming back. Always coming back. Especially the more we kind of keep the things, because it's also said when we keep attachments. We shouldn't keep attachments, and this is not so easy in one sense to really let go, let everything go. Yeah, and in a moment of death, then we should be really ready to only chant. So we should, because now today in the morning also was chanting. It was nice, but so many ideas and this and that, and I have to do this and that, and very inspired, good, but. We should take shelter only in the holy name. And we can see this now, Chapa, where are we taking shelter? An advanced devotee, he can take... This is the last point I want to make. Advanced devotee, a pure devotee, he resides naturally in Krishna. This is his natural position. When there's nothing going on, he's in Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But he can come out of that and act in the world, like Prabhupada. He was doing so many things, but he comes out of this position and does this, and then if this is done, and he does it for Krishna, it's not for doing himself, he goes back into his natural state of consciousness, Hare Krishna, completely with Krishna. And ours is opposite almost. No? We are living in our ego world with our project, and we try in our japa to get into this Hare Krishna consciousness, but when we stop, we are dragged back in our natural position of ego consciousness with all things. No? It's kind of like this Gummiband, rubber band, goes back. So we have to make this transformation and to be more residing in Krishna consciousness and acting out of that. But for all that, I have to really say it's easy. It's always easier said than done. Yeah, I really cannot say, oh, yeah, okay, so easy and it's written here, and yeah, keep on chanting and you will make it. It's a huge thing actually to transform ourselves really. And I cannot say I have the solution or this and that, right? Or I solved it. It's a long process. You know, why so many devotees have problems, you know? Before I was more like, why do devotees have problems? No, it was for me, no, but now with time you can see when you go deeper, there are so many things, you cannot chant them away. You have to really be cautious and chant and, you know, take care of yourself. Yeah? So many devotees, they leave. Why do they leave? Because they have so many desires. Okay, Krishna consciousness, nice. They might think they are Krishna, but I have to do this now. I have so many ideas and plans and attachments and desires. And we as devotees today in the morning was all thinking, it's actually amazing that what kind of, even if you only do a whole life, this morning program, 16 rounds, and then from 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock on, you do your thing, service, whatever you have to do. But such a spiritual practice is very powerful. Who is doing that? Every day, 3, 4, 5 hours, only spiritual activity. That's the reason why this morning program is so important. It's so important that we keep that. It's a huge impact in our life. So this desire, there's so many desires, and sometimes desires come out and suddenly you change your mind. And you think, where's this coming from? Well, anyway, and you're convinced, no, I have to do this now. I need more hair again. Yeah. Why are you laughing? Most of devotees are not shaved up. Many of them were shaved up. And Prabhupada saw this in devotees. And they joined and shaved and this and that, and with time comes and then the hair grows, and then Prabhupada said, oh, the hippie tendencies are coming back. He saw this like an indicator for not just hair, but actually the weeds coming back. Because they were not plucked out. It said you have a bhakti lata, a plant of bhakti, right? A plant of bhakti. Everyone understands this, for example. Yeah? We get a seed in the heart. When you start chanting, you know, you get books and this and that. You get a seed, and then this plant grows, and your bhakti develops suddenly. But there is also there are other seeds of anarthas, unwanted qualities, and they are also growing sometimes with devotional service. And you have to be very careful and plug it out. Anarthas have to be plugged out. If you don't plug it out, it stays. And you think, oh, it doesn't matter. It's just a small anartha. It's just so small, you know. I cannot even see it. It's super small. Yeah, but from this small it can grow, and sometimes very fast. And why is it said that with devotional service, with advancement of devotional service, also anarthas can grow? Because become proud. Oh, I'm so advanced now. I'm so humble. Yeah, I'm proud that I'm so humble. Yeah, it's actually not so illogical as it sounds, but in one sense, it's so because it's so subtle. Humble, yeah. I'm proud that I'm so humble. Yeah, I get so much respect or honor, this and that, influence. Yeah, so it's very tricky. Like, now I wanted to stop now. I do exactly opposite. But the story of Bharat Maharaj was a big king, and then in the end of life he went to the forest to only do devotional service. But this was an anartha when he saved this deer, and this was why he fell down. And he said he was on the stage of bhava. He had almost love of Godhead. We are on the stage of what? anartha nivritti. We are in the beginning. Shraddha is a little bit there. All that. We are in the beginning. He was on the stage of bhava and fell down. So there's always a chance. Ajamil and all that, right? Anyway, we have to be very careful because of these weeds. Because if they are not plucked out, if you are not really determined, they grow. And it's not just, I have material desires. No. You really want to do it. You're convinced, no, it's good. I need my hair. I want my hair. Enough of this. I need more hair. And I need this job. I need this money. I need this car. I need this house. I need this movie. I need this music. This music. And for so many years, I was suppressing my real self under name of brahmacharya, but it's not me. And now I really express myself and go back to the discotheque and listen to my favorite music. I can download it. And because when I joined, there was no internet, but now I can get everything. And I listen to all this. Wow, it feels so good. Yeah, but this is not right. It's not right. It's not good. So we have to be very careful, especially now, when we are in the fire of devotional service. Especially in the beginning, we are in the fire of devotional service, where I think, this is Krishna, this is Maya. The cut is very clear. This is Maya, I don't need this, and you throw everything away, and you join, you just shave up, and everything is clear. And you should use this drive to go really deep and to be very careful. Because later on, there come challenges, and you might not be so determined. I don't want to paint the devil on the wall, maybe no. But I can see very often the devotees start at one point to drift towards Maya. It's interesting. How can it be? Somehow or other. Not careful what can be said. Huh? And it's tricky. It's very difficult. No? We cannot blame anyone. Huh? And this is the reason why we should have good association. This is the reason why, this actually, I would say this is the solution to the problem. It's like the only solution, good association. Because we are really weak. Put any one of us into an unfavorable, from devotional point of view, unfavorable situation. How long you think you will stay a devotee? Of course, I know so many years practice, no problem. I will. No. Ajamil failed, Bharat failed, so many fall. And the example is always there of the sticks. Take one stick, you break very easy. Take many sticks, you cannot break. But this stick should be strong and not be rotten. Then you can break it also. So that means every stick, every devotee should be good. Good Sangha. And then it's very easy. Actually, it's easy. But without that, we fall. Because the influence is so strong. If you hang out with people who have all long hair and listen to this music, you think, actually it's okay, it's not so bad. It's so strong. So we should have this good association, take shelter. And so in that sense, we are so fortunate to have this situation where everyone is seriously interested in Krishna. But as I said, we should not take it for granted. Because one rotten apple, makes the others also rotten. And it can happen and we think, we are all devotees, it's also nice, but suddenly we all rotten and we have a huge asadu sangha or something. It can happen also. There were projects in ISKCON where this happened, where some or other, the whole project. It's not just because we are together, we are safe. No, we have to engage in devotional service together. Because I know it from myself. I always like to tell this nice story, which you should not imitate. But it's funny, and maybe it's not so good to tell, but we are honest. Huh? We were on Sankirtan, book distribution, and there was some anartha still there, especially of myself, and there was another devotee for, I dare to say it, for soccer, football. Yeah? And it was in 2006, and this was where the championship was in Germany. But WM was in Germany. And then one other devotee, we were in this area and said, you can watch this. It was like quarter-final or one of these. In my house, we're leaving the house, and in the weekend you come from Sankirtan, you can relax. Just you can watch the game. It was quarter-final, Germany against Argentina. And we too were so, it's a good idea, no problem. Huh? And one other devotee was there who was not at all interested. Not at all interested. Didn't care for this nonsense. So we went to his house and we met a huge pastor. We had yellow cheese, mozzarella, feta, and no, paneer we didn't make. It was too sattvic. We had like all kinds of cheese, a huge pasta, and we watched this game. And this other devotee was the youngest of us, who was not interested. We said to him, Prabhu, you have to watch this with us. Because this is sadhu sangha. You have to watch this. It's sadhu sangha. They had to watch, I think half of the game. He said, do I really have to? I said, okay, go, no problem. He didn't want at all, we couldn't. So, but my point is, sometimes it might come in the thought, I do Maya with devotees, then it's okay. Then it's sadhu sangha. And I agree it's better to do Maya with devotees than with karmis. Okay. But better is you don't do Maya with devotees. Better you do something devotional with devotees. Yeah. So what is better? Do Maya with devotees or do Maya alone? Difficult, huh? What is better? What is more safe? I don't know. Everything has its ups and downs. We should be very careful with Maya. Yeah? So we should not let Maya in. And nowadays, it's very difficult, actually. Before, devotees were more protected. Maybe also a little bit more isolated and maybe a little bit more sectarian consciousness. Okay. But, especially internet. The Maya comes now through the internet. Everyone, it's not just that there's a computer, there is internet. Now everyone has the internet there, and you have to be very careful. There comes the whole karmi world. It's the World Wide Web. And most of World Wide Web is in Maya. Is in Maya. And it's so tempting maybe, and so interesting. This news and that news and this. We should be very careful. And I don't want to preach to everyone. Everyone has to solve this for yourself, but be very careful. As this example always goes of the Indian train. You drive the Indian train, and you have your seat, your ticket with your number. You sit on your seat, and there's one small thin Bengali coming, and even though it's one seat, but, in India, one seat means like 10 people, no problem. And he says, here's some space. And you says, no, this is my seat. I have my ticket. This number 19, and this is my seat. But he says, come on, this is, And you say, okay, no problem. We share the seat. And you let him sit there, and he comes and sits there. And then he calls some person, small Bengali child comes. His child comes, and he says, "Okay, this was not the deal. You can sit here, but not your child." He says, "Please, it's just the child." And I say, "Okay, no problem." And you have to, and his child comes, and you drive the train, and he calls, and suddenly another child comes, and you say, "Come on!" But it's too late. They overpowered you already. And third, and then in the end, he calls, and then comes his wife. And then what happens? You fall off the seat. They have no seat anymore. This is with Maya. It's only one small, thin Bengali husband, Maya. This is like nothing. This is like nothing. Okay, comes in. And then, you get accustomed to this little Maya, and then there comes another. So when we understand there's some Maya coming, and maybe we already on the trap of Maya, we have to go really back. We have to really go back and to live as pure as possible. And I wish you good luck in this. You have your whole life in front of you. And life is a challenge, and life is something to learn. And this had its ups and downs, but we should always stick to with Krishna. We should be always taking shelter in Krishna, and He will guide us through all this Maya. And sometimes we learn the lessons in a soft way that we learn by listening. Maya comes, and it's Maya, Hare Krishna, no. And sometimes you learn the hard way. Maya comes, you get into her crib, she beats you up like anything. And when you're really beaten up, and you're bloody and your blue eyes and everything, you say, okay, Krishna, I come back to you. Sorry, Maya was not so merciful as you are. Because Maya is not merciful. She rips you apart, she kills you. She triggers you. Think, it's nice, no? It's like a beautiful girl with a baseball bat behind her back, you know. So, oh, please come, kiss me. I say, oh, so beautiful. You kiss her, yeah. You get your sense pleasure, but then she takes out a baseball bat, and you get bam and whacks you on the head. So you want to kiss her? Kiss me, but you get a good beating. This is Maya. So anyway, so we have a whole life in front of us, a lot to learn, many challenges. We have to stick to Sangha. And today in the morning, this is my last point, of course. Just make one more point. I was really thinking that... Now I forgot my point. What was it? Yeah, that this... If we keep only that morning program, Mangal Artik, if we keep to these simple practices, this is so powerful and will protect us. It's so powerful. 16 rounds. Every devotee who is here is such a nice situation here. Actually, it's really nice. This is what I want to say. That Simhachalam has a culture of morning program. This is big. It's not everywhere like that. There are temples where devotees, it's like very optional and only some of them use it. In Simhachalam, there might be a little social pressure. Sometimes you feel, I have to go. How does it look if I don't go? Even the temple president might come to me. He has a list. Actually, he wanted to do that. I don't know. He didn't do it. Huh? He still has a list? Yes. It's very good. It's very good. Actually, it's very good. You think, oh, this is so fanatic. But actually, it's good. Actually, it's good. It's for us good. Yeah. So that we have a culture of this, because it's culture. And if this culture is gone, it's very difficult to get it back. As I said, there are temples where it is not a culture. And try to introduce it. Please, everyone come. To change that, you know, change that. So we should really keep that. It's very important. And every one of us knows it, isn't it? That when you went to the morning program, to Mangal Arati, and you chanted your 16 rounds, you feel, wow, it was nice. I must say, it's like always like that. It's never that, man, why was I going to Mangal Arati? I should have slept. Why was I chanting my 16 rounds, absorbed and sitting and all that? Why? It's such a waste of time. I could have, slept so nicely. It's always that I think, I'm so happy. Like today in the morning, I also was really tired. And I thought, but I have to go now. I have to go. And especially when I take the cold shower then, and after I go out, I say, wow, this was the best I did. So wonderful. I'm happy that I got up. And now I'm really full of energy. I'm happy that I got up. Yeah? It's also just the trick of the mind and sleepiness. Huh? Oh, it's so nice. I want to stay. Oh, no problem. But afterwards you regret it. Man, why was I not getting up? So yeah, we have to learn many things, but it's nice that we have this culture. Let's stick to it. It makes us very happy and we are enthusiastic, and Maya will not be a problem actually in this association. Yeah. Okay, sorry, it went longer than I expected. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Any questions? Anything to add? Yeah?
How can we plug the anatas from our life?
I don't know. I don't know. This is you. I think like this. There are many ways. You check yourself. Be honest with yourself. Check yourself. See, where are my anarthas? Where is one of them? Maybe don't take all of them at once. It's like fighting against 10 people. Take one at a time. Okay, I can make maybe a list. What are my anarthas? You have to be introspective. You have to be honest. You have to be looking. You have to. I talked with a devotee recently, and he asked me, how can I be humble? And I told him, just understand that you're an idiot. Just understand it. And I said, you are an idiot. I'm very sorry that I have to just say this now. But I try to think myself like that too. Of course, it's a little hard if I say this. It's not so nice. But it's a very good realization. If you think, I'm actually an idiot, it's terrible. So this is one of the first things. So be honest, look into your heart, try to find the problem, and then work on it. Like if you are a little too aggressive, then be more nice. Catch yourself where you're a little bit too mean or aggressive or too, egoistic or whatever. Catch yourself. If you see you're a little bit too greedy with prasadam, You are the first that there, have the first, prasadam full to get the nice things. Sandesh are very limited, or chumaladas are very limited. I have to be there on time, and then I take maybe one extra for myself, but I hide it under the chapati. And this is not nice. Think for the others. Okay, today I will not take sweets, or I will serve prasadam. You have to do the opposite, almost. I mean, there's so much to say, but I would say, if you see anartha, and you really want to work it, do the opposite. If you have a problem with honesty, then be honest. If you have a problem with laziness, try to do something, work on it. If you have a problem with whatever it is, do the opposite. Really work on it, fight it. If you have a problem with renunciation, with cold shower, take the cold shower. Many things, but yeah, we have to see it and then work on it. And make a plan. Make a plan. Okay? Many things to say, but I think this is already good. But I think it's very nice if you understand that we are idiots. It's very nice. Prabhupada said, you have to feel yourself in front of the Spirit Master like an idiot, like a fool. But you shouldn't act like a fool. I'm an idiot, so I can do nonsense all day long. But I'm an idiot. I'm in Maya. I do nonsense all day long. Sorry, my latest realization. No, you should only feel like this. Okay? I wish you a wonderful day in devotional service, and hope that we pray for each other to stay in this association and go back to home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada's slogan, back to home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada K. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Born